But before we get started, this is the first Kickstart webinar that we've done. We've done a few podcast episodes talking about
at this point.
Well, talking about marketing specifically. But this webinar is going to be a deep dive into how to create a marketing campaign. So how it's going to go, we're going to talk, we'll have some slides. So if you want to take notes, there's things on there that you can jot down. We'll also have a replay of this presentation. So you'll be able to go back and watch it there as well. And we'll go through the presentation. There's a Q&A box. So if you have questions, type them in kind of as you think of them. And then at the end, we'll go through and answer any questions you guys have. But I think in terms of housekeeping, that is probably it. We are, again, live doing this. We have Luke Tippett, who is our creative director, Alyssa Mabe, who is our account manager, graphic designer, social media strategist, and then Joshua is behind the camera back there producing. So
also behind the computer.
Behind the computer, whatever. So we're all
producing.
We're all here today. And I'm Laura Tippett. I'm the founder of Kickstart Collective and a lot on the strategy side of things. So it should be fun. I think we're probably ready to jump in. So again, if you guys have questions as we could go through, feel free to type those in. But yeah, so who are we? Why do we feel like we can talk about this? So we're, again, Kickstart Collective. We're based here in Wilmington. We're a creative marketing agency. So we focus on helping our clients come up with effective and creative marketing strategies, heavily focused on the content side, and then building out campaigns, heavy on the video and digital side. But we found it, works pretty well for most businesses, I feel like, depending on, not really stuck in one industry or segment. Luke, you're smirking. Do you want to
No, I'm just
expand on that?
No, just looking at you. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We create content and then we use it for marketing.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
It's super fun. So on slide number 3 here, basically this is what we're talking about: how to craft an effective marketing campaign. So we're going to make an assumption that you have somewhat of a marketing strategy in place. So we're going to dive a little deeper. And if you don't, that's okay. You can still do campaigns.
If you don't, take notes.
Yeah, take notes. But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how to create a campaign that would then kind of fit into your overall marketing strategy. So we're going to talk about why marketing campaigns are important. We're going to talk about how to define your goals, align those to your audience, and then your content and your messaging, and then how to actually create marketing funnels and things to actually, use those, capture leads and convert leads. So that's where we're going. So are y'all ready to
I guess
dive
Let's
in?
do it.
Are you ready to? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the bot's back there ready to start. So
seems like we're ready to go.
AI is ready. So are we.
So we're ready. Okay, here we go. Let's dive in. So guys, why campaigns? Why are campaigns important?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. I mean, I'll talk about it. You can talk about it. I think for just the sake of keeping things, clear, we like the consistency, the conciseness, and then allowing that to drive the creative. And a campaign lets you get specific and kind of build your content around a certain, message or goal or whatever. So overarching, that's what I would say. I don't know. Do you want to dive into, either one of you want to jump in?
I feel like they're fun because you're right. It's very specific campaign, specific goal, specific time period that you do it in. And because it's so specific, then you can get creative with it. You can be concise with it. You don't have to be worrying about all these different messages that you're trying to send. It's one clear message.
Yeah.
I think from my perspective on the creative side of things, it helps if the business is driving like a certain campaign for like a quarter or a special sale they're doing, it helps us be able to narrow in like why we're creating certain content and like for who. I guess it just makes it all more specific to help the business reach their end goals.
So we like to be specific.
We like to
Yeah,
be
keyword
we like
specific.
It does start with SC, so I didn't put it on here, but
Close enough.
close enough. Yeah. So from a consistency standpoint, what that's going to do for you as a business and within your marketing is it's going to help build your branding and build awareness, because you're going to have one key message going out. And then I have on here on the slide, rule of 7. So basically that is a marketing principle that says basically it takes someone 7 times seeing your brand or your messaging for it to stick. So, if you're able to narrow in on, whatever that core product or message or service it is that you're trying to sell, keep it consistent, because someone's going to need to see it 7 times before not always, but likely they're going to need to see it 7 times for it.
Some of us need to see it 77 times.
Sometimes. Yeah. And then I think I'll have to double check this, but I think it's something like seeing it 16 times before they actually take an action. So they're going to need to see something consistently 7 times for it to, stick. And then another, what is that? 11, 9 times for
There
them
you
to
go.
take an action.
We don't do a lot of
That's
math.
No,
We do.
We do a lot of math.
She does a lot of
Yeah. And then, like I said, keeping it concise again is going to support what we just talked about, but also you can have one clear call to action to drive that action that you want the person to take. And then the creative, you're going to take all that. It's going to help you cut through the noise and then connect with your audience, because like we're going to talk about in just a second, when you're talking about a specific campaign, there's going to be a specific audience tied to that. So, yeah, that's why we like campaigns, and they're fun.
It helps things to not get too overwhelming too.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely narrows it down, especially if we're talking about this in terms of like a quarterly campaign. You don't have to think, okay, I need this to resonate all year long for everyone, for everything my business does. It's like, no, I'm going to pick what matters, which is a perfect lead into slide number 5. It's like, we know what we're talking about. So when you're building out a campaign, this is kind of the things you need to do in terms of getting started. So like we were talking about, the first one is going to be knowing your business goals. So let's just take this on like a quarterly basis, because I think that is easy to talk about, and it's a good time frame for you to run a campaign, but it's not too long to where it's going to get, tired out. So yeah, you need to define what your most important business goals or objectives are for the, upcoming quarter or season or whatever it is. And then from there, you can align that to what you need, like on the marketing side, but knowing for it to be effective, which is what we want, you need to know like from your business, what are you trying to achieve? And then next is defining your ideal customer. So if you registered for this webinar, you have a lovely worksheet to take you through that. So I don't know, Elsa, do you want to talk a little bit about the customer side?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of information that you can go through to dial that in and figure it out. But you do want to get specific. You can start out with demographics, but then you also want to go through their behaviors, their interests, their pain points and their needs. Like, what do you have that what problem do they have that you can solve for them? How can you help them? And just get that as specific as possible, like to where you imagine one person. Yeah. Like, oh, this is my ideal customer. And then just expand.
To go back for a second, if we're looking at this within a quarter, we're not asking define your ideal customer for your whole business. We're asking in this quarter, if you're pushing to sell like a service, let's say, for example, like a plumbing service or a, HVAC service, hey, it's summertime. There's going to be a lot of HVAC systems that are breaking down. So we really need to push our service. So what does our service, customer look like? So that's where we're going to identify those people. So it helps to look at it in smaller chunks. That way we're not just, because your business may, service lots of different people, lots of like tons of different demographics, kind of all over the place. But if you are looking at it in these smaller chunks, then you're able to narrow it down a little easier.
For sure.
Yeah. So then once you've defined your goals or whatever the, service or product is you're wanting to push for that next quarter, the customer that is perfect for what you have to offer specific to that, then comes the fun part, which is aligning your content. So again, depending on the business, this can mean a lot of different things, which is fun. But you need to know that audience, what's going to resonate with them, and then where are they? If it's, on social, if it's a TV ad, if it's print, whatever that is, and then start thinking through your content in terms of that. So, this is where a lot of the creativity comes in. This is where we like to include our creative director.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into content, like more specifically next on slide number 6, which is align your content.
Can I just say I haven't, if you're seeing, are we on that slide, Josh?
Slide number 6.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sam with a beard like that in a while. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm a little shocked.
What's the value? So
Of the beard?
of the beard, there's a lot of value in that beard.
A lot. I know. Hey, winter is coming. Sam, grow the beard.
So when you're thinking about aligning your content, obviously your business goals and your customers' needs need to be aligned. And it needs to provide value. And we'll jump into like what is value in just a second for your customer. But this is a portion where if you're maybe not right now, but if you're taking notes, to go back and do this and just brainstorm like 5 to 10 different content angles that would resonate with your target audience for this season, and to be specific. So is that some sort of, download white paper, very specific to your industry and like current trends? If you're thinking of like for this quarter, is there like an end of the year recap you could do? Is there like projections of some sort looking into 2024? Is it a tool? Is it a webinar? Like, what is the content that in the topics that would resonate? And then once you have, 5 to 10 of those, then narrow it down to what's going to be most valuable for your audience in this specific season. So hopefully step 1, all those should be related to your business anyways. So then you're going to take it a step further and be like, okay, what is valuable? So what is value to your customer is going to vary.
A lot.
So that is why when we put mess hall's image up here, because it's one that from our perspective, based on the business, it might be tool or white paper or a webinar, like very in-depth content that your customer needs, or they just might need to be entertained.
Well, can I just go over a few different things?
We're gonna do like this is example time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
this is
we'll break it down for a few different kinds of businesses. It's not going to include everyone's business, but let's take, for example, the bearded man on the screen here. If we're still on that. Yeah. So we got Sam, we got Mess Hall. Mess Hall is a restaurant. They sell burgers, they sell chicken sandwiches, they sell tots. They sell breakfast. Milkshakes. Absolutely. But for their customer base, which is broad, right? It's broad. There's anyone from a 16-year-old to a 65-year-old going there to get a burger, but they're not directly they're not selling like a service where they're coming out to your house. They're not selling like a disposable like plastic product. They're selling food. So their main thing is getting people interested in what they're doing. So the way we get people interested in what they're doing is like with their brand, what aligns really well is like comedy. So we do stuff like that just people find entertaining, because we just want to get people to say, oh, cool, that's Mess Hall. Look, they made this funny thing that has to do with milkshakes all over, a bunch of shirtless guys. If you haven't seen that, check it out.
And then they see them in public and they're like,
wait,
I know
who's that?
Somewhere.
I know you're from somewhere, but you have a shirt on right now. It's kind of odd. So anyways, for them, entertainment value is huge because it's just capturing people's attention. Now let's move to like maybe someone in the real estate industry. Real estate industry, they're working with individual buyers of houses or individual buyers of, commercial properties or whatever it is. So really what they want to do through their content is educate people.
Mm-hmm.
They basically want to express like, hey, I can educate you because I am a market professional. So it's a little different angle because I don't assume real estate agents are going to be wanting to make videos of them dumping milkshakes onto their heads. I don't know. Maybe
unless it's part of their brand.
unless it's part of their brand. Yeah. And we'll do it.
Do it.
We'll make those videos. But what's going to be found more valuable for their client is going to be education.
Mhm.
And then one more time, let's go with maybe you're selling a product that you can buy offline. So this is going to be really important to grab someone's attention quickly and express like, what is this product? Why do I need this product? What problem does this product solve for me? So that's going to be way more into the ROI thing rather than just getting people's attention. So you can do, with the specific, campaigns, you can do it a lot of different ways, but it's really important to sit down and think like, hey, who broadly is my customer base? And then within this campaign, what's going to work best.
Mm-hmm.
Did I explain that okay?
Yeah, you did great.
Okay.
Thanks for showing
y'all can just y'all can tell me if I did it wrong.
No, you're good. I think we're gonna get to, I don't know if it's the next slide or a few slides. Oh no, it's next one. Talking about taking that and like building out the funnels, which I think is what you were kind of getting to at the end.
We're getting there.
Getting there. But yes, back to, the content side, you're going to narrow it down. And then from there is where you actually have to put the creative into action. And
we got to put a plan together and create it.
Yes. And then you got to distribute it. So ultimately, the goal in most cases, unless it's just purely brand awareness, which is a good goal. And a lot of times that needs to, for a quarter, that might be what you need to do. But ultimately, eventually we want these campaigns to generate leads. And again, and this will help drive the content and the campaign strategy itself. But you have to think from your business perspective, like, what do you consider a lead? Is that an email capture? Is that someone filling out a contact form? Is that somebody walking into your store?
Picking up the phone.
Sending an
email.
Yeah. Like, you need to know, like, what do you consider a lead? Because if you don't know that, then you don't know.
It's hard for us. And it's hard for us to send you something if we don't know what to send.
Or even if you're doing it yourself, like, you need to connect the dots from, okay, what am I putting out there on social or email or wherever? How it was like, if it's not clear for you, then it is not going to be clear for that person to make that next step. Would you?
I'm just pushing the mic closer to your mouth.
Do you not know where you want my hands? So what do you consider a lead? And then what contact information do you need? Do you need, again, phone number, email, or do you just need that body walking into your store? You don't necessarily need a contact info, but hey, if you capture their email address or, give them something, great. And then from there, the medium and channel that's going to resonate best with your audience. So we kind of talked about this on the previous slide, but that might be a webinar. It might be some sort of lead magnet. It could be a blog post with, a email capture. It could just be a really good social media post with then some clear call to action for the next step for them to take to become more of a lead than just a follower on social. So lead gen, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, you also have to know where they are, because if your audience isn't really using social media or online, you might have to go a more traditional route. But if they are only online, going a traditional route might not work.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Gotta know where they're at.
Yeah, know where they're at.
Mailers. We're only doing mailers from here on out.
Only going back. We've done direct mail a few times actually.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah.
Which I think, this is a segue, but paired with, and again, I lean more on the digital side just with my life and experience and credentials. But anyways, paired with a strong digital marketing strategy, I think direct mail.
It works.
It works.
They're fun to design too.
They're fun to
I like
design.
'em.
Yeah. So direct mail could be an option too. I left off postcards on your
Jeez.
channel meeting.
Good thing
Sorry.
I'm here.
Gosh. Okay. So when you're thinking through your content that you're creating, I think people that have like a sales background, this might come slightly more naturally in terms of building out funnels.
But for people like me, explain it like I'm 5.
I feel like you understand funnels.
Maybe.
You better.
I'm just trying to be I'm just trying to be helpful here.
We're getting there. So basically, whether it's a marketing funnel or a sales funnel, ideally they would align, but you're going to have your top of funnel. And these are going to be I'm going to call them audiences for the sake of marketing lingo, but your cold audiences. They could also be cold leads. These are people who might not have ever heard of you. They might not have ever heard of your brand, your service, your product. If you have a common product or service, likely they've heard of that. If it's something new, they might have no idea. And so when you're building content for them, this is going back to like that main goal might just be awareness. They might just need to be introduced to who you are, what you offer. But there's no real ask from those people. So you don't want to be like, hey, here's who we are, buy this right now, to people who've never heard of you before. Like if I walked up to you and I was like, I do marketing, like here's a package for $5,000. I want you to sign this. You're gonna be like, no, I don't like you. Like, that's weird. So don't do that. Don't do that online.
Maybe.
maybe
Tip.
you like, I've been
That only-
stalking you and you just, I know you need
No,
marketing.
that only happens
But-
when you come well referred.
Yes. Which in that case would ideally not be a cold audience.
Correct.
So that would be warm or even hot. But at that point, you're either letting them know about something, you're providing them some sort of valuable content. Again, that could be a blog post, that could be a
Video,
educational video, podcast, even a really good social media post that has
something
good
educational.
content.
Yeah.
Or just
Entertaining.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Milkshakes on guys.
Or milkshakes on a bunch of dudes that work at
I'm gonna go back to that like example like 5 times.
How can we forget?
No one will ever forget that if they saw it.
Yes, you'll never forget.
Yeah,
that
if you
campaign.
haven't seen it, go to Mess Hall's Instagram so you know what we're talking about.
Scroll back.
Shout out at Mess Hall ILM.
Yes.
But I mean, I feel like that actually, I know we weren't planning on talking about that specifically, but is a good case study.
It's a good example
talking
for
about
this
the funnel.
specifically. Yeah.
So that piece of content, it is educational. It is even for people that follow them that aren't totally aware that they sell milkshakes.
Yeah.
That video itself, which was the bulk of that campaign, was awareness.
Yep.
And then middle of the funnel, and I'll explain that, and then we can tie milkshakes back into this. These are your warm audience. So they know who you are. They know what you offer. They're familiar with you. So you can start talking a little bit more about how you are going to kind of introduce where your product or service jumps in as introduce the need, whatever. And that's okay to have a small ask or call to action on that. So at that point, you might capture like an email address, or you might say, hey, go to my website to learn more about this service or whatever. It's okay at that point, because they're familiar with you, to have something that kind of drives them closer to making a purchase decision. So in this case, if we go back to
we'll just use the same example. Sorry, everyone. If you're tired about hearing milkshake,
go get a milkshake. With that video, we were also running Facebook and Instagram ads. And there was a
email capture. Yep.
We set this up together. You're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
My brain. There was an email capture for
there was
something.
There was an
Discount.
offer for a discount for a milkshake.
Discount coupon for
Yes.
milkshake.
Yeah, kind of like an incentive to get people to want to sign up for it.
Yeah. So you give us your email or give them your email address, and then you get the coupon essentially emailed them. So that's a small ask. It's an ask for an email address. It's not like we are asking you to walk into Mess Hall and buy, 10 burgers to get
A
a
milkshake.
milkshake or something.
And you get something of value from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So there's value, which is definitely an important thing, is if you're asking someone for contact information or whatever it is, there needs to be value. And something I was thinking about just in general is, even if you are offering like a free download or a free webinar or whatever, there still needs, just because it's free, there still needs to be value associated to that. Because, for example, if you're watching this, you're taking, about an hour of your life to watch this. So if it doesn't have any value for you, even if it's free, it's not valuable. So you got to think through those things, especially as you lean more into capturing like a lead. So your bottom of your funnel, that audience is hot.
Narrowest part of the funnel.
It's smaller.
Some would say.
Yes. It's literally
Bottom.
It's literally a funnel.
So you're taking people from your warm audience and pushing them towards you as the solution, the answer to whatever need they're having, whether that's a new HVAC unit or they need a milkshake because it's hot or whatever it is. You are the solution. At that point, you're capturing the lead. Depending if it's e-commerce, that is going to be your purchase. At that point, for service-based businesses, sometimes that's like a actual hot lead. So yeah, in this case, and sometimes this especially will start to move off of purely online if you're not an online business.
Yeah, that may be scheduling an appointment, making a call to schedule an appointment for if you're like a service provider or any kind of industry where you're like in-person service. It might be just literally picking up the phone and say, hey, like I'd like to get a free consultation, or I'd like you to come out and quote my roof.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna walk into your restaurant and use this incentive that I got to actually purchase the milkshake.
Exactly.
And hopefully some tots and a burger with it. But
hey, maybe just a milkshake.
All you gotta do is get a milkshake. So just as you're thinking about your content that you're building out, like where is that core piece of content going to fit in this funnel? And then how are you going to move people down and provide more and more value until ultimately they need to pay for whatever it is you're providing? So free and valuable is good, but at some point you got to create a need.
And it's real, just to kind of tie back with like the very beginning, it's important that we're really specific on our audiences for this, because the goal is to narrow down who is a good fit, for your business. You're not trying to take a person that is way outside your demographic and squeeze them down the funnel. Like that's not going to work. They're going to bail out in the middle of the funnel. So that's why it's really important to find that audience properly at the beginning of the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially if we're thinking about this in terms of like quarterly campaigns or campaigns that aren't yearly, the more specific you get with the audience, the more specific the content is specific to that person's like need or pain point, then the quicker you're going to push them down this funnel. And you have to be realistic too. Like, is your sales process 3 months?
Yeah.
In which case, start today.
Yeah.
Start thinking today.
I mean, each business has a different buying cycle.
Yeah.
If it's food, it could be instant.
Yeah.
It'd be the same day. If it's e-commerce, it could be same day.
Yeah.
But if it's a roof that's going to cost you $25,000, they're probably not just going to click through that day. So
it also saves you as like the marketer time, money, effort when you do make it specific. Because if you don't, you kind of just like cast in a wide net, hoping that you catch something. Don't know if you will.
Yeah.
Right.
But when it's specific, it saves you money, saves you time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the difference between talking to a bunch of people in your middle of the funnel warm audience versus people that are hot audiences or leads. And ideally too, you've educated them at some level. So there's less time in explaining that you have to make. So this probably on slide 8 is what we have started kind of talking about. So converting those leads to sales. Again, what is your sales process? I feel like we've talked about that. But define that process for yourself and or your sales team. So once you've captured a lead, I was working on this slide very late at night. Lucas pointing out my typos,
Don't worry, I proofread everything.
Do you? This is a live webinar, Luke.
Yeah.
I asked if you wanted to preview these slides. What did you say?
I said, I'm going to bed. It is late.
We are married. Disclaimer. Anyways, excuse typo on slide 8, folks. But this is very greatly.
We can't laugh at ourselves, What can we do?
What can we do?
This does very greatly.
Yes, it does. Sure does.
Based on your business.
Yes. So you need to find that process for yourself, and or if you have a sales team, or if you own a shop, like even though they're not technically a sales team, your employees. So once you've converted a hot lead and moved them more into your sales cycle, what does that look like? So to actually close them, if you're doing like a seasonal campaign, having some sort of offer or it's creating some sort of sense of urgency. Obviously, it needs to be legit. Like, don't lie, don't suck.
It's a little harsh.
It's harsh. But like, if you have a false sense of urgency, it's not long term for your brand. It's not going to be good, because then people like, what is it? Like the ones that there's always like a coupon or like a deal, like Hobby Lobby, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just shops there on the week that they want to go there,
Yeah.
right?
Like,
I don't know much about Hobby Lobby, but that's what I've heard.
They do have good sales.
they have great sales.
Every week.
When I think, or like grocery stores is probably a bad example, but at Kohl's. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about this real quick. Sidebar.
Oh, Kohl's.
No,
Oh,
about Bed Bath and Beyond. Did they close though? Because I just got something that said they didn't close. So they're like reopening as just an online store. Because they told me they're going out of business, and then this is what this is what you're saying.
Yeah. So don't lie to us.
And
I don't
now it
know.
seems like they're an online business. I don't know. We're gonna have to look that up. Not now.
Luke's coming after you.
I know.
Bed Bath
I
and
went and
Beyond.
bought stuff there because I thought you were going out of business.
So they created a sense of urgency. But now, if they do go and they're just online, are you going to be annoyed and go back
I'm
from
never
someone?
gonna buy from
do
them
it again.
Yeah, never. The only reason I went there is because it was in person. I could actually touch the glasses that I was buying.
Okay, so it wouldn't be. It would just be because it's online, not because they.
No, they tricked
tricked
me.
you.
No, they
Okay.
tricked me, and now I'm bitter.
You're mad. So yeah, don't do that. Don't create a false sense of urgency or a fake offer. I mean, the offer would be real, but and motivate.
Let's just be real,
Mhm.
Just
people.
be real. Yes.
Just be real.
Just create real offers. Like if you're whatever, especially if it's seasonal.
We don't
Drives
say
action.
anything.
I feel like
about
that's
that.
easy for this time of year. Like the last
Yeah.
quarter, it's very easy to create a sense of urgency, have
Mhm.
special offers because of
End of year.
Christmas and the
End of year.
holidays. Yeah.
Yeah.
End of year, beginning of next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like limited time only pumpkin spice lattes.
Don't get him started on pumpkin spice lattes.
I'm just
Our webinar is going off the rails, folks. If you have any sort of business that you sell pumpkin spice or you're willing to make fun of pumpkin spice, Luke
Just hit me
will
up.
create you a video this season. It's limited time, and he probably would offer you a discount because he really just wants
I want to make.
To roast pumpkin,
pumpkin
spice.
spice.
I just not
Like
actually
roast.
roast it, like cook it. Not roast pumpkin spice, like cook it. I want to roast pumpkin spice. Like yes, it would be fun.
Lifestyle.
It would be so fun.
Pumpkin spice lifestyle.
If someone wants to do that, please contact
Mhm.
us. Anyways, we need to go to the next slide, or else I'm gonna.
So anyways,
get lost
you're
here.
going to want to create the sales content. So if you're doing like an email, like you captured their lead online and then you have an email campaign, go ahead and build out that email communication. If it's sales emails for your teams that are somewhat automated or templated, build that out. If it's phone scripts, if it's retargeting ads, they landed on your website, they, went to added something to their cart, but didn't check out. You can follow them around the internet with their targeting ads. So you need to take it a step beyond just you checking the time.
Yeah,
Time check.
just making
Oh,
sure.
good. Beyond the lead capture, how are you actually going to close the leads? Because again, we want this to be effective on the business side, just not pretty marketing stats. So
That's where we start with everything.
Yeah.
We got to start with the business, and we got to figure out, is this going to actually work for you?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
instead of just making a cool video.
it is. Okay. So recap it here, slide 9, to make your campaigns effective. So you're going to define your audience. You're going to build out step 2. You're going to build out your messaging and content around your audience's needs, pain points, desires, all the things we sort of talked about. And then within your funnels, have a clear call to action and a follow-up sales strategy. We're going to obviously talk about Kickstart a little bit more at the end. So before we dive into that, is there anything else you guys want to add to campaign
Recapping.
recapping on how to,
Recapping.
or anything we didn't, have a specific bullet point for in terms of like
Go, Alyssa.
campaign.
You have anything?
I know. I
See, Alyssa and I, we worked on the outline and all that. So really, that was just
covered all the
That was me.
bases.
aimed to
That
you.
was a question for me. That was
I mean, Alyssa's welcome, obviously, to chime in on anything else that came to mind. But
no, I don't think so. It just really hit me up if you want to make that pumpkin spice video.
oh boy,
Rating discount.
cool. Yes. So we're gonna do what we talked about in action, real life example that is real. So if you went through that and you're like, cool, that sounds fun. We offer specific campaign packages as a service. So ending the year, going into next year, as a business owner or someone with some decision power, charge marketing, whatever, if you go into this next quarter or year with like clear, concise, creative, strategic marketing plans, like how does that make you feel? Hopefully good.
I hope so.
Hope so. So pop it over to slide 11. This is where we come in terms of being a marketing agency. So we have a comprehensive quarterly marketing campaign. We call it quarterly just for the sake of it's 3 months long. But you could technically start it anytime. But it is a 3-month long campaign that's designed to maximize your business's reach and ultimately conversions. The goal with it is obviously speed is of the essence. So it's ready to launch in 30 days with all of your strategy, content, and then us implementing it and actually running it for the remainder of that time. So with the quarterly campaign program, you get strategy. So we meet with you to talk about all the things.
Don't ever say that again. You're gonna be in the pumpkin spice video now.
But we talk about your business goals specifically for that upcoming, quarter or time frame, season, whatever, and turn that into marketing strategy and messaging. We then create the content, which in most cases is very heavy on the video side of things.
It could be video, graphics,
yes.
photos.
Yeah. Typically includes video. It doesn't necessarily have to. It could be, a 20-page white paper that Alyssa will design for you and it'll be beautiful. But from there we go through and we create the content and the lead captures for the funnels that we had talked about. And then we implement it on wherever your audience is, social, email, a combination of all of it. So basically it's everything we talked about, but it's us, working alongside you, but us doing it essentially for you. So it's already October 12th. So we, for this package, for this offer, are taking 4 clients for the remainder of Q4 of 2023.
And it will roll into 24.
Yes, it won't. Yes. If you signed on today or at the end of the month, it still is a full 3
We
months.
probably have enough time though to get stuff in for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
So
we just filmed a Halloween ad yesterday.
Yeah.
So that might be rushed unless you were very clear on your business goals.
Nope. Yeah, we're not going to
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
do that. Yeah, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Yes.
Into New Year's, if you have something you wanted to run December, January, February,
especially launching into the new year.
Yeah. It's a good time to get that ball rolling. So if you register for the webinar, because we are so grateful for your time commitment, we are offering registrants a $500 discount on this package, which brings that investment down to a little over $3,300 bucks.
What does that include?
That includes everything on kickstartcollective.co/campaign dash.
And just to summarize it though, it does include us strategizing it with you and then actually building out the content, like making videos and graphics.
Yes.
And then also implementing it. So running the ads and everything.
Yeah.
So
basically you have us for essentially 3 months. And I think something important with this, if you do have an in-house marketing team or person, we aren't coming in to take their job or step on their toes. It would definitely be us working alongside them. So from a campaign perspective, it plugs in well to, again, an overall marketing strategy. Or if you're it's just me, that is fine. Like we will work obviously with you and run with it there too. So, but I just wanted to make that clarification of like, we're not replacing your in-house marketing person or something like that.
Unless you need us to.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's fair.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, it plugs in nicely as a campaign to a specific thing.
Maybe they drink too much pumpkin spice.
Oh my gosh. Good gracious. So yes, if you have questions on that, we do have a landing page on our website. You can read more, or you can, contact us. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about that. But now if you guys have questions, we have a solid, 20 minutes. We can answer questions if you want, or we'll see what happens. So if you guys have questions, feel free to type those in. And
If
then
there's no questions, then I'll continue to talk about milkshakes and pumpkin spice.
They should do a pumpkin spice milkshake.
OMG. We'll pitch it to them for next year.
Yeah. Start working on next year's campaign.
I assume there's no questions currently.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a Q&A and maybe a chat box. So if you do have questions, throw them in the Q&A just for the sake of making it easy on us. But if not, there will be a replay of this webinar available. So we'll have that. And then again, if you want to talk marketing campaigns with us, we're more than happy to help you there.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Melissa, leave us with something. Drop a bomb.
It's fun. I love doing campaigns like this, quarterly campaigns. Especially some of the ones we've done recently. They've been a lot of fun to like work us together, work with the client. They're just fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot better when you put a lot of different brains together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, because what you think might be a great idea is a good idea. But when you let like 2 or 3 or 4 other people like get together and give input and then subtract some and add some and subtract some and add some, you usually come out with like a pretty awesome product.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ideal client
For us?
for us. Oh, that's a great question.
Ooh.
Hey, did you narrow down our audience?
For this?
Yeah.
I think we did.
Okay, we'll say it.
And it's not going to be specific to probably one person, but our ideal client, and if you're interested in this is not you, don't worry. But when we go through that activity to get it very specific, it is business owners who are businesses that have a digital presence or want to have a presence on digital, so social media mostly, and then aren't afraid to do, I don't want to say crazy, but like creative, more entertaining,
silly, maybe
a little silly at times, things.
Yeah.
And that's not like, that doesn't have to be everyone, but if we're talking like who is our like ideal that this is for, it's going to be people who aren't afraid to like push the envelope just a little bit. Because one, that is fun for us to create, and two, it makes an impact on the audience typically.
Yeah.
So
I would say people that from my perspective, definitely people that are willing to do video.
Yes.
That is super helpful. Now, every business doesn't necessarily need video, and that's a very small sliver, but if you're comfortable on camera or like could see you or people in your business on camera and having fun, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
It just comes through with your audience, and with not just your audience, your end customer. If you put a little personality, whether it's you or someone else in your business, people tend to connect with people.
Yeah.
Which is why we love video. It's like graphics are awesome for specific things, and photos are great, but when you have a person talking and your audience connects with that person, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think
seems more real.
This is going back to the presentation, but even if your like core piece of content is some sort of like download or PDF style thing, using a video
to get them there,
to get them to that lead capture, also tends to be effective. So if you're like, my main thing is going to be white paper. Okay, well, we got to think through like, how do we let people know about your white paper and get them to actually give you their email address to
And
download
trust,
it
yeah, and trust,
and
you.
trust you. Yeah.
I tend to trust people that I've met in person or have watched like on,
Mhm.
you know, whatever on YouTube or TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
depending on what you watch on TV.
You at least feel like you get to know them better, whether
Yeah.
you trust them or
Yeah,
not.
oh, yeah, trust me. Any other cues over there?
For us.
Josh, make something up. Favorite project to work on? Yeah. Favorite campaign this year?
This year?
Yeah. Or did you say over the years or this year? Oh, okay. You can go. Unless you don't have a favorite.
Well, some of mine that like from the digital market that I signed NDAs.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. It's really not that exciting, but just from the standpoint of like having user generated content and like a very specific social like ad strategy and being able to build the funnels and having a healthy budget to play with, was fun just for me, like in what I do day to day. I think from like portfolio standpoint, I would probably say the Outer Banks.
Outer Banks.
Yeah,
That's where I was going because it's definitely So we did for Mess Hall Restaurant, we did a spoof off of the original Outer Banks trailer, where we did, instead of Pogues versus you'll know.
Kooks.
Kooks.
See,
He says that like we haven't watched every season.
we watched them. I just forgot the other people. Pogues and Kooks. We made tater tot fans versus French fry fans or nerds. And but we got to make the content, we got to do the ads. Alyssa designed a t-shirt.
Yeah, that was
so it was
fun.
kind of like we kind of touched a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Joshua and I got on the boats, did the filming, got in the water.
Mhm.
Or I did. Yeah. So underwater filming.
Yeah.
We got to do a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
For
that was
Email
fun.
campaigns. I mean, literally everything, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was cool. And
Mhm.
the fact
That
that
was fun.
we tacked on a t-shirt design, I thought was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
So
Tots for life.
Tots for life. Grab the
life.
t-shirt. Tots for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think is that what we're working with?
We wrapping? All right.
We're done.
Well, we can wrap it up. Yeah. Thanks for joining us again. We'll have a replay sent out. It should be automated through Zoom or my name, whatever your Zoom emails came for with the registration link. And then if you have questions or want to learn more about us, kickstartcollective.co.
CO.
No M.
No M.
And the end.
The M was not available.
Oh, sorry, I did it. But yeah, anyways, thanks for joining us, Luke, Alyssa, Joshua. Thanks for all coming in to Kickstart Studios, which is also
Here we are.
here
Brought
we
to you by
Sure.
Kickstart Studios.
are.
You want your videos to be shot here?
Kickstart
Hit us
Studios.
up.
Contact us.
All right. Thanks, guys.